All right, so I'm gonna do a pre-cap of my time in Lyon. So I kind of filmed this over a couple days. So I came in yesterday, and luckily I was able to drop my stuff off at the hostel I'm staying at and head straight immediately to a walking tour. And yeah, my guide there, he was really good, really knowledgeable. Got to learn a lot about like local people here in town, the history, the architecture, the food, like a lot of good things. So luckily he let me like record him. So um, there's a lot of video of him actually speaking and stuff. So you get to hear it come out of his mouth instead of me kind of just reiterating what the guide is saying. But I think the sound might be a little bit off because I didn't have it mic'd up. So I'm kind of getting like the secondary mic. I tried to get it as good as I could, but it just wasn't. It's just kind of difficult sometimes unless you have both people mic'd up. So um, also today I went to the confluence park where the two rivers meet here in the city, and then after that I went to the basilica that overlooks the city. It's called Basilica Notre Dame du Fourvier. And then after that, I went to the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. And then throughout the trip, I just kind of utilized public transit to kind of get around. I did a lot of walking, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video and hopefully you like learn something. If anything, there's a lot of beautiful stuff to see in the city in the video, even if you're not paying attention too much. So enjoy, share, please like, subscribe, do all those good things for me. Spread the word. All right, so I'm gonna like head out and do like a city walking tour here in a minute. And I have to take like I said, I don't have a metro system, but they have like a light rail system, so you'll see here. So here's a light rail system to get myself on this thing here. All right, so I'm on the light rail, so I gotta take it like 4 stops. All right, so I made it to the meeting point for the tour, so just in time. Yeah, look at the cathedral here. It's pretty cool. So there's like a ton of these underground passages like that cut through the city. They used to like haul stuff from the riverfront up to the main city proper through these things back in the day. All right, so this is what it feels like walking through these things. It's pretty. Some of them are pretty dark. So I guess this is like one of the longer ones. But yeah, like I said before, they used to haul stuff from like the riverfront up the city through here. So because the city is built on like a pretty steep hill, the highest point has always been like a place of religious worship, and now there's like a big like cathedral on top, or like, but it used to be like a Celtic thing back in the day.
Sound effects. There used to be a lot more. Among those 500, only 30 are open to the public, like the ones we are going to say together. The landlords there in those special troubles have a special contract with the city. The city pays for the building, the maintenance, etc. In exchange of what you can freely enter those special troubles. All the other ones are private. You know, you can't enter them on media. These are not medieval like the cathedral, but they are from the Renaissance. And the Renaissance time is period being the very end of the Middle Ages, 15th, 16th, 17th century, more or less. The Renaissance time is definitely the second golden age of Europe. Once more, after the Roman time, it became a very influential and dynamic and wealthy center in Western Europe. It all started during the reign of this king of France, Charles VII. During his reign, Joan of Arc inspired the French army to beat the English one, and so France won the Hundred Years' War. It went reunited again, and to strengthen this unity, Charles decided to reorganize the territory. And he chose Lyon to be the center of the international commerce and trade in the kingdom, because still Lyon is very accessible and strategic. So Charles allowed all European merchants to come here to trade without having to pay taxes. Very interesting to them. Lyon became something of a tax haven, the meeting point of all European merchants. German ones, a lot of them, they arrived with some of the earliest printing press and Gutenberg. machines. So Lyon became for a couple of decades the main center of books printing in Europe. So imagine the level of knowledge and technology that you would have found in town back then. Also, we had a lot of Italian bankers and traders who came to move to Lyon during the Renaissance. All the Italian families, extremely rich Italian families of bankers and traders, they all sent a cousin, a relative of them, to come to move to Lyon in order to speak in the name of the family, and this made their financial sense. So all those extremely rich Italian people came to settle here, and they made the city rich. They also made the city beautiful because they came with their own architects. This is why you will feel an Italian vibe in the old town of Lyon. Many Italian and Mediterranean features in the local architecture, including the warm colors on the walls. And this is the first floor. We will see some more features of the Italian style in a few minutes. But now look at this sign here, those signs with this word, bouchon, B-O-U-C-H-O-N. You already heard this word. Keep it in mind, it's a very famous word in the local culture. I still have my bouchon is the nickname of the traditional Lyonnaise cuisine. Every time you see bouchon of this or that, it means that they serve traditional cuisine in Lyon. Watch out, bouchon is not quite.
So just open up a secret passage for the tour group here. It's pretty cool. Watch out for the door. Ooh, it's kind of cool. That. Wow. That's freaky.
Density of the city during the Renaissance. See how narrow and dark those you can also see on this side of the course another feature of the Italian style from the late Renaissance, those galleries with arches being on top of each other on each floor and opening to the outside. And those we call loggias in architecture. So in Italian word, loggia. Like some sort of balcony. Loggia basically has no purpose, no other purpose than showing off beautiful architecture from the outside and to have a place from home where you can enjoy the outside, the view, etc. Well, what's the point? There's no view to enjoy. So even though they didn't have enough space to actually enjoy those features, still the landlords they wanted to show that they could afford brand new modern Italian architecture in this period. Also with useless features. Spiral staircase. And spiral staircases became very fancy things to have at home at the end of the Middle Ages, especially in Venice and in Lyon. Not only they were fancy, but they were also very practical. Venice and Lyon had very common features. A lot of water, a very intensive trade, and very high density. And in those conditions, spiral staircases allowed to spare a lot of space. We don't have space so this Venetian pattern in architecture you will find in all of the time. This area, the warm colors of the walls, the spiral staircase, and the loggias, it will always be the same.
Secret passage.
Very commonly, it also comes as a tart, la tarte aux pralines, the praline pie. Be sure to have some as well. It is absolutely delicious. It is extremely rich, extremely sweet and fat. We love it. We love it even more this way. Allez, let's go on this very busy street.
Shit, I got lost there for a second. It's pretty crowded there. Yeah, that bread smells really nice though. Does it look it's like chocolate? I don't know. So it's very fatty and sweet though.
La rue du Bœuf. Alors, it is a normal random street in the old town, but it has something more. It is famous for being the most starred street in the world. It is the street in which you will find the biggest amount of restaurants that have stars. There are three restaurants that have stars in Michelin guide only in this tiny street. The first one, La Cour des Loges, this one there on the corner, is a two-star restaurant. It's only the outside cafe here. But in there, there is actual luxurious restaurant, making the street the most starred street in the world. We have a very rich and ancient gastronomic culture here in Lyon. It is due to the fact that Lyon is very central in France and in Western Europe. Lyon is the meeting point between two worlds, and the world of the butter and the world of the olive oil. So the local chefs they could always accede to many goods from the other region, and they got very creative by mixing them. Especially women and the female chefs are highly respected in the local food culture, they sort of invented the modern concept of a restaurant. Actually, restaurants did not exist before the French Revolution. The French Revolution, 1789, royalty and nobility were taken down in France, and so a lot of local noble families went broke, and they had to fire their cook. Most of those cooks were women who opened their own tables by themselves, creating the modern concept of a restaurant. Since then, the female chefs are highly respected in the local food culture, and the best ones, even the worst ones actually, we give them a very lovely nickname. We call them the mères lyonnaises, Lyonnese mothers. Let me tell you about my personal favorite one, la mère Clotilde Bisolon. She was a very skilled chef and a very sad mother. She had a son who died as a soldier in the first week of the First World War. She was devastated. She decided to become the mother of all the soldiers. She opened for them a free restaurant for them to have a place to meet, to have some rest, and to find support and those warm meals as well. She became extremely popular among the soldiers. She was awarded the Légion d'honneur after the war. This is the highest civilian medal that you can have in the French Republic. She started again during World War II, the free restaurant for the concept for the soldiers, but she was there assassinated. In 1940, she was found stabbed, and as it was the war, the investigation could never be done. So actually, we don't know what happened to her. It was a very sad event in town because in 1940 we were losing the war, for sure, and she was a positive figure related to wartime. Also famous for being a very playful person, a very popular one, a very gentle chef, a very warm, welcoming chef, always a smile on her face, la mère Clotilde Bisson. You can't really say the same about this other mare, la mère Eugénie Brasier. She was a bit more of a tough person. She was an extremely hard worker, 18 hours a day. You would have been at work in her cuisine, but it paid. She was the first woman to have 3 stars in the Michelin Guide. But she was the very first chef, male or female, to have 2 times 3 stars in the Michelin Guide. In 1933, 2 of her restaurants turned 3-star one. It is an incredible performance. I don't know if you figure out what it takes for a human being to have only 1 star in the Michelin Guide. And 2 times 3 stars, it's only 4 or 5 chefs have had 2 times 3 stars in history. Legend in the French food culture, la mère. During World War II, she had a little intern, 16 years old, working in one of her cuisines, who went missing one day in 1944. She was not worried at all. She was upset that he had not shown up. The guy had actually joined the Free Forces to liberate France from the German army. He was shot by a bullet, he fell in coma, and when he woke up, the US soldiers had tattooed him a rooster on his shoulder while he was asleep to mark him as a French fighter because he could have not survived. When he woke up, he recovered, he went back to work, and she welcomed him with a slap on his face, said, "Now go back to the cuisine." He later became the most influential chef of them all. Paul Bocuse, the chef of the century, as we call him in France. Restaurants all around the world, 6 restaurants in Lyon, a 3-star one, of course. Paul Bocuse was a major figure in our local culture. We miss him a lot. He passed away 8 years ago. We miss him Monsieur Paul, as we call him. Have you seen the film Ratatouille? With the little ghost chef. Chef Guzo, it's him. He was invited by the Disney Studios. They copied his face and voice in the original version of Ratatouille. So it is an extremely funny movie to see for us locals because we see our chef. What is no fun at all as a Lyonnaise when I see Ratatouille is that Monsieur Paul, 70 years of career, he always refused to open a restaurant in Paris. So Ratatouille should have taken place in Lyon. But this amount of rats in a restaurant, this can only happen in Paris. I think we can say. This in town, or the guignol, it is called. It features this character with a green stick. See him, guignol. That's an extremely famous puppet in the French street theater culture. But at first, it's a genuinely Lyonnese creation. Guignol, in the story, is supposed to be a canoe. Canoe is the nickname of the local silk weavers and the silk workers. You will hear a lot about the silk thing in Lyon, and especially about the canoe, about the silk weavers themselves. They are very famous for having been rioters, and they started a lot of very important social and political movements, and Guignol is definitely one of those rioters. He is always with his drunk friend, Niatron, in front of him with red nose, and it's always the same scenario, more or less in the Guignol place. For some reason, they have to escape from the cop, and it always ends up the same way. They always finally hit the cup with their sticks and hammers. Frenchie style of theater. There's a longer animation on the hour. We will only see the quarter. Now, if you moment, but the clock is not on time. This is long. Building is the Guadagni Palace.
Statues of Beneficing the Protestants chopped all the statues' heads off during the Wars of Reformation.
They did here an immense palace in the Italian style. Today, it is the Museum of History. And now, let's wait for the of the old town. The most beautiful one, especially this street. See behind this very beautiful car, we are right at the foot of the hill. We can't go any further from there. The hill starts. So this street, La Rue Juivry, was protected from the flooding as far as possible from the busy harbor and riverside. So this is why the wealthiest family decided to build their houses in this. We are here in the residency of the billionaires of this period, and you can see their names and coat of arms on those flags there. Look at the lion's house. All those lions' heads in the line, all the way to the end of the street. This used to be a one-family palace. Today it is divided into smaller apartments. For sure, the troubles we will see in this street will be way more grand than the ones we see.
So these are the coat of arms of the old wealthy families of Lyon. You can see them. This is like the wealthy street of the era. So I feel like this trip is the trip of, or this tour is the tour of like hidden passages because we're going into like another one. All right, another one, another tunnel. Okay, so the mic kind of wasn't picking up the voice of the guide, so I decided to just do a quick voiceover here and kind of explain what's going on here. So what you're looking at is a gallery, which is a passageway between two buildings. It was commissioned by a wealthy building owner named Antoine Bouillard, and he commissioned the local architect named Philibert Delorme. And what's important about this is like the style he built it. He learned how to do this in Italy, and he went on to become a famous architect throughout France, and kind of brought the Italian Renaissance architecture style into France during that time period. So this was like happening in like the 1400s and 1500s during the Renaissance period. So this is like the first example of that.
It was too much for him. So in 1536, he asked the Lyons-born architect Philibert Delorme to design for him this absolutely lavish gallery. That is only a connection between the two sides. You can have the building behind. It's one of the most important ones in Europe, and the most important one in terms of daily transit. So even today, Lyon is a very important transit point. The north to south transit goes through Lyon. So the St. Paul train station, this is the St. Paul Church. Here it is fire. But the most important and relevant thing on this square is the St. Paul Boulangerie, the bakery St. Paul. It is one of the best ones in town. Be sure of that. The best one in the old town, for sure. Never go there. Chez Jules. It was absolutely disgusting, everything that happened in there. Never go to a boulangerie. Not a coffee. St. Paul, St. Paul.
So Gare Saint Paul is the old local train station in town. So Boulangerie Saint Paul is the one to go. Oh, it's beautiful.
UNESCO protected riverside. Look at that. Better when it's sunny. Better when it's sunny. But we are now leaving the old town behind you, and we are starting another chapter of the tour. We will be closer to the city center and at the foot of the other hill of Lyon. Alors, we have a very difficult geography to deal with in Lyon. It is time for us to look at a map to understand a bit better the local geography. Come in front of me, guys, because the north is behind me. It will be a bit more easy to understand. So here it is, my map of Lyon and its city center. See this potato shape on the map? This is the UNESCO protected area of Lyon. In this UNESCO protected area, you will see all those areas of interest massive, being very close to each other. So you have the two hills of Lyon, the Fourvière hill behind you there, and the Trois Rousses hill that we are about to reach now. You can also see the old town that is squeezed between the Fourvière hill and the river Saône on the other side. Also, the city center also squeezed between the two rivers, the river Saône and the river Rhône, that meet at this point called La Confluence, which is down there a bit outside of my map. So we met here in the old town, in front of the cathedral. We are now under this huge pin, about to cross this bridge there, and we will finish the tour at the end of the tour here on the Place des Terreaux in front of the city. So this bridge we are about to cross, La Passerelle Saint-Vincent, Saint Patron of the winemakers, popular figure, is the most ancient bridge that you will be able to cross in Lyon. All the other ones were destroyed by the German army in 1944. When they fled Lyon, they decided to destroy all the bridges behind them to slow down the arrival of the Free Forces. This bridge, this pedestrian bridge, was not considered very strategic by the Nazi authorities. So after they attached the explosive charge, the German soldiers, they did not guard it very well. So a resistant saw what was happening. He could discreetly approach the bomb. He pretended to lace his shoes and he could cut the wire. So when the Nazi officer pressed the button, all the bridges.
Oh wow.
All the bridges they exploded, but not this one. It is the only one that remains in its original condition from before World War. So we are about to cross the river Saône here. This is my favorite one as well. Actually, the river Saône is very peaceful. It's very scenic. When the river Rhône is also quite scenic river, but it's very powerful. It's quite a dangerous river actually. With basic normal skills, normal swimming skills, you can cross the river Saône, even though it is not allowed. It is very peaceful. It was also the opinion of Julius Caesar, good old Julius Caesar. When he conquered those territories, he described the landscape and the geography, and he specifically talked about the river Saône. He said, he wrote himself, that it is so calm that you can't really see toward which direction it flows. That's the case today. Actually, no, it flows in this direction. Allez, let's proceed.
I are crossing the bridge into the old part of town. The area between the rivers. Yeah, so it's like one of the few bridges that wasn't destroyed by the Nazis, so they didn't guard it very well. So the French resistance were able to defuse the bombs when they tried to blow up the bridge whenever the Allies came to this town.
Bon, we've seen beautiful places, messieurs dames, we've seen beautiful monuments and buildings. We also have terrible landmarks in Lyon, absolutely horrible ones. Of course, I'm talking about this metal tower up there. What does it remind you of? Say it, please. Say it out loud. Oui, la Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Well, the Eiffel Tower was built in order to be an observation tower and an engineering wonder for the World Fair in Paris in 1889. And we had a World Fair in Lyon just 6 years later in 1895. And there, the organizers had the very silly idea of building an ugly little version of the Eiffel Tower. So, very unpopular in town. We hate it actually. And don't waste your time going there. There's absolutely nothing to do in the tower. You can't climb up the tower. There is no restaurant or cafe in there or what. You see the feet of the elephant. It is the inside doesn't look like it. Bon voilà. C'est bien, c'est un extremely famous represents famous characters being born here in Lyon. Let's start with this Roman emperor up there. See him? Third floor, fourth floor, depending where you're from. The Emperor Claudius. Not just a random Roman emperor. Claudius was the fourth one, major figure of the early imperial history. His nickname in the Roman history is the Gallic Emperor because he was the very first one being born outside of actual Rome, and he was born here in Lyon. He was the uncle of Caligula. He was the father of Nero. You might have heard about those crazy Roman emperors, but he was not bad at all. Very respected. So this man in green with the globe, another Italian name, Jean de Verrazzano, Giovanni da Verrazzano. He was the son of Italian bankers who came to move to Lyon during the Renaissance, and he was a sailor. He was an explorer. He was the very first Westerner to reach and to describe the island that we call today Manhattan. And there, today in New York City, the longest of all the bridges is called the Verrazzano Narrows Bridge, after the name of this man. And now comes this man in blue, holding a big piece of silk fabrics. See him, Joseph-Marie Jacquard, very, very important figure in the local history. We will talk about him in a few moments. But let's cross the street. He was the director of it for many things. Well, many more to talk about here on the main side of the Fresco dei Lyonnais. The wall was painted in 1994, and back then all the characters on the ground floor were still alive, including Monsieur Paul, the chef we talked about earlier. And then the higher you go, the older the characters will be. Now let's start with those two men with the moustache up there. The brothers Lumière, the Lumière brothers, Louis and Auguste Lumière, who invented the cinema at the end of the 19th century. Lyon is the birthplace of the cinema industry, and they shot here the very first movies in history. See this little fair-haired cartoon character? Recognize him, Le Petit Prince, with The Little Prince. The Little Prince, which is the second book the most translated in the world, just after the Bible, the New Testament of the Bible. Do you remember the name of the author of The Little Prince, the pilot? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, bravo, Madame. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who was a pilot. Today the airport of Lyon is called l'Aéroport Saint-Exupéry after his name. Now look at this man in yellow holding this puppet, this guignol. We already talked about guignol in front of the clock. So Laurent Mourguet, this man, created this character, this guignol. He was a dentist. He was a two-schooler during the late 18th century. It was back then very common for two-schoolers to use this kind of puppet to distract you when they were removing your teeth by force. Experience that, I prefer drugs. But it might have worked. Today it is very famous, very popular in town. Every French person knows guignol. Allez, there is one more internationally famous character on this boat. I'm talking about this man holding a book, balcony in the middle. He was a scientist, a world famous one. His name is used as a very common unity of measurement in the international system nowadays. Do you know about unity of measurement with a French name?
C'est Pascal.
It's not Pascal, but it definitely could have been. Pascal was from Clermont-Ferrand. Ampère, ouais, André-Marie Ampère, you said. What? André-Marie Ampère, you measure electricity in volts and in amps. Amps, ampere, from the name of this local. Obviously, women are missing on this wall. The Lyonese mothers we talked about earlier, to me, it is an absolute scandal that they are not depicted on the wall. I really don't understand why. Obviously, they are missing because they are major figures in the local culture and also very influential ones. Still, there is a very, very important female character on this wall. I'm talking about this one on the top right corner with the blue veil. C'est Blandine, Sainte Blandine. She was a little slave during the Roman time, and a Christian one. She was part of the first local Christian community, which is the second one, the second oldest one in the Western world. By the time of Blandine, there were Christians in the Western world, only in Rome and Lyon. Period. That's it. The particularity of Christians back then was that they are monotheists. And as monotheists, in the year 177, they refused to respect the cult of the emperor as a demigod, which was a mandatory thing to do for anyone in the empire, and this was considered high treason not to do it, and so they got sentenced to death. The little Blandine was sent in the amphitheater with lions to have a beautiful show, but God protected her. So the lions only came to walk around her, inside her, and came to lick her hand. It was an absolutely lovely scene. The Romans, they did not like it at all. They took back the lions and they tortured the poor girl. She did not survive, of course. She is today the saint patron, the holy protector of the city. So a major figure in the local culture, quite a popular one. Also, make it to the hilltop on this very beautiful street, La Montée de la Grande Côte. You will directly reach the hilltop. You will climb for a bit. Very picturesque area, very interesting and pleasant. One more street artist from here, local one, quite a famous one as well, in the Whoop, who designed those mosaics, those pixel art mosaics. Those are always depictions of Mario, Super Mario, the Nintendo character, but Mario will always be dressed as other characters of the pop culture. So this is a Totoro, my neighbor Totoro, Mario. There's another one there, up there. It's Gandalf, Mario, I think. Alors, they are everywhere in town to be seen as well. You will see a lot of them, especially in this area here on the hillside.
Going to a little hidden tunnel. Oh, what a sad kitty. Getting stuck. We're going to another courtyard. It's like the courtyard tour. Oh man, I love these kebab rolls. They're so good looking. Smash burgers are like a rage here now. It takes a while for trends to trickle over to the other side of the ponds.
The last stop of the tour here, as promised, we are on the Place des Terreaux, here in front of the town hall, the city hall of Lyon. Quite an ancient building built in the 1650s, but the facade, as you can see, nowadays was rebuilt, redesigned in 1701 by this architect Jules Hardouin Mansart, the one who also designed the most famous rooms of the Palais de Versailles, the palace of the French king. Magnificent classical French building. This one here is also quite beautiful. This one is the Museum of Fine Arts of Lyon, the Saint Peter Palace, as we call it. It is an ancient place, an ancient structure. I highly advise you to visit it during your stay if you have enough time. But if you don't, I really suggest you just enter through the gate. You will have a free access to the cloister of this former abbey. Very beautiful square, very peaceful one as well. Very suitable place to rest after a very interesting tour like this one. Of course, the most beautiful and popular piece of public art in town is La Fontaine. La Fontaine Bartholdi, the Bartholdi fountain. Bartholdi is the artist who designed this sculpture. Maybe you don't know his name, but I am absolutely sure, 100% that all of you here know about another statue that was designed by Bartholdi. It's not in Rome. It's not in Rome. Do you? The Statue of Liberty, right? We in the harbor of New York City, the Statue of Liberty was a present from the French people to the United States people. It was also designed by Bartholdi, by the same. Bon, messieurs, dames, of course, I won't let you go without having talked to you about the most famous dishes in the local food culture. Maybe you heard, according to some food critics, Lyon is the world capital of the cuisine.
Yeah.
It might be a bit exaggerated, okay, but the French capital of the food, this is a fact. Please, I don't want to hear any argument against that. Alors, let's start with the appetizer, with some cheese. Why not? La cervelle. de Canu, fresh and creamy. You can take pictures now, those paintings if you want to remember. La cervelle de Canu, fresh and cheesy. Le Saint-Marcelin, extremely smelly, absolutely delicious. Recommended on a good slice of baguette. Ah, voilà. Le caviar de la Croix-Rousse is a salad of black lentils with shallots and herbs. I recommend it as well. La salade lyonnaise is a normal French bistro salad with half-boiled egg and pork in it. Bacon bits in the salad. You know, pork is definitely a huge part of the local culture and religion as well. Sometimes the local saucissons are called la Rosette de Lyon for the very large one, and le Jésus de Lyon that has just the size of a little baby. So we call it Jésus. Please have a slice of Jésus during your stay, messieurs. Les gratons are chunks of pork fat, crispy. They are fried in butter and oil. It is the fattest thing you can ever imagine. There's a lot of salt as well, making them even more delicious. Of course, le saucisson brioché. Look at that. It is a hot saucisson with pistachios baked in a brioche because why not? We are in France. We can bake everything in a brioche if we feel like actually. Bon, here are the non-dairy 100% recommended dishes, starting with the most famous of them all, la quenelle de brochet, sauce Nantua. It's the fried fish sausage with a crawfish sauce, have it with a glass of Beaujolais. Why not? And to finish with my personal favorite dish in the local culture, the one that reminds us of our childhood, I think, and the favorite among the local kids, le gratin, the potato gratin with a lot of cream. It's very creamy, as well just grilled on the top of it with a lot of herb. And here we are now, Mr. If you want to try this local cuisine, here is the list of the places I personally recommend. It is a page called Bertrand's Tips. So here you go. Have a picture of it. Most of them are around the Saturday Square. We just passed by. If you want to see what my other tours are about, you can also scan this QR code. And the tour is coming to an end. Now I hope you had a good time with me this Saturday.
All right, so I'm going to be taking the tram to the confluence where the two rivers in Lyon meet. The Rhone River, which starts out in Switzerland, and the Saône River. So it should be cool. All right, so I'm on the tram headed to the confluence. So this is the Rhone. There's a bunch of ships here, cruise ships. So this is the building of the Museum of the Confluence where the two rivers meet. And it's like 12 euros to go in. They have like art exhibitions and local stuff. I don't really know if it's worth it. I think it's like about 12 euros. I think I'm gonna head to the Basilica, but I'm just gonna enjoy the site here. So it's pretty amazing. So tomorrow I'll be able to see where the river starts out in Lake Geneva. So that should be really cool. That bridge looks really neat. The river barges. Wow, like this building's pretty crazy looking. Looks like a spaceship or something. Looks like there's people. I don't know if these are like houseboats for like kind of richer people. And they seem to have like their cars parked under here and everything. But it seemed pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having a houseboat that was like this big. We definitely live in something like that. All right, so I'm here at the confluence where the two rivers meet, and there's a dangerous beast. I don't want to get too close. The most violent creatures, the swan. They look like they could be friendly, but they're as deadly as a hippo or a lion. Yeah, this is where they meet, and the waters are actually pretty calm here. It's really nice, chill day. Because they put those so the ships don't hit the the shallows there. So in the upper left corner there, zooming in a bit, is a Basilica of Notre Dame du Fourvier, and that's where I'm going to be headed to now. So here's the Museum of the Confluence. Actually, here, let's take a quick view of the Lyon sign. The Lyon Lion. I don't think the city is actually named after Lyon. I guess it just kind of sounds like the word kind of sounds like lion. But oh, there we are. Maybe I should do a selfie here. Yeah, this thing is so crazy looking. I'll just take one last look at it. Man, I do. These houseboats are pretty sick, though. I mean, if I was to do a houseboat, this person even has their vehicle with them. All right, so I'm having to take the funicular to get to the Basilica. Let's see if I get there in time. Oh, I missed it. Guess I'll have to wait. Be able to take video of this one going up, I guess. All right, so I'm here on the funicular. We're going up to the Basilica. People are trying to crowd in.
Everybody stand. Probably where it was. No. Because it hasn't rained. I hope we haven't overloaded it.
Check that out.
I want to enjoy it. I don't want to look at the phone like this.
In the tunnel now, there's not a whole lot to see. Oh, actually, there's like a little historical plaque there. So you could see where the oncoming tram is going to the other side. So it's like splitting. It's like a ghost tram. Entering the station here. Oh yeah, check out this the chain here. It's like built right there. That's how we got here. So when you go to the station, you get to see this. So this is the Basilica that overlooks the city. So we're gonna go inside now. And this place is huge. You can see it like dominates the city. It looks like the Protestants didn't knock their heads off for these ones, I guess. It's good. Those ones have like holes and stuff on them. Like real close up there. Never seen anything like that. It's like gargoyles. I don't know. All right, here's a view of the city of Lyon from the basilica. Looks like they're having like a little march though across the bridge. I don't know if that's fair. Yeah, here's the exterior of the church of the basilica. But yeah, it's like they're doing a lot of construction on it, so the facades doesn't look so great. So and so I waited like with the mass, and in that mass they ended up having like it was actually in Portuguese. It's kind of interesting, but I guess this is like the Portuguese community here, and there's a Cape Verdean community. So I saw all these guys with their banners and their flags and stuff like that, and they brought in the Virgin, like a statue there. You can see it. So it's really cool. It's interesting. I've never heard mass done in Portuguese, so it's kind of cool to check it out. Here's what the basilica looks like from below. Check that out. It's pretty crazy. Check that out. Oof. Like almost level now. So I made it from up there, and now I'm back to where I was yesterday. So I'm at the cathedral where we met up yesterday. So I'm going to be going in there now. So check it out. So before we even go into the cathedral, a lot of the exterior bits were destroyed by there was a war between the Protestants and the Catholics, and the army that took over was mainly Calvinist, and the Calvinists were very severe. They didn't believe there could be any sort of images of saints or Jesus or Mary or anything like that, or even some of the animals. They like ripped the heads off these gargoyles too. It's kind of weird. And they knocked out the stained glass, made it like really simple. Yeah, so yeah, so this church basically had a lot of its stuff taken out. So puppetry, as we know it, started in France with like Punch and Judy dolls. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, the city is just everywhere you go, it's beautiful vistas and buildings everywhere. Incredible place. Definitely wish I had more time here. All right, so I take a quick video in front of City Hall before I head back home. And take a picture of this waterfall. It's like really pretty. Here's the front of City Hall right here. All right, so I just tried a little bit of the local wine and food at a place called Soif. So it's called Thirsty, I guess, in French. And I'm headed back to the hostel. I think I'm just gonna document the ride back a little bit so you can see what it's like to get around the city here in Lyon. I guess in Europe in general, I can see how public transit works a little bit more. All right, so I take the metro and a streetcar back home, right back to my hostel.
Chers voyageurs, bonjour. Dans le cadre
Should
des
be
nuits
like
sonores,
5 minutes.
les 4 lignes de métro circulent jusqu'à 1 heure du matin. Pendant
All right, so now I gotta catch a tram here. So I gotta look out. I think it's like the T1. I'll double check it. So this is mine on the T4. Just double checked it. Yeah, this rain sucks. I just gotta do like 3 stops and then I'm gonna get off and walk the rest of the way. So that's pretty much it for my public transit for Lyon. I'm gonna be taking off tomorrow. I'm just gonna walk to the train station. So. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up my Lyon tour video here. Here at the main train station, and yeah, I mean, I had a great time here. The weather is kind of like not so great at the end. It's a little bit rainy, but overall, Lyon has a lot to offer. It's a really beautiful city, great food, just a cool vibe. And yeah, just everywhere you go, there's stuff to do.